Welcome to Fairy Tales English Journey, where we master B1 to B2 English through the magic of stories.
Welcome to Fairy Tales English Journey. Today we will explore a fascinating story called The Goose Girl. Have you ever heard of a talking horse or a stolen identity? This classic tale is full of magic and mystery. Get ready to practice your English while we dive into this amazing adventure together. Let us begin our journey. The Goose Girl is a famous story collected by the Brothers Grimm. It teaches us about honesty and the power of truth. In this video, you will learn new English words and enjoy a beautiful fairy tale. Listen carefully to the pronunciation and try to repeat the sentences. This is a great way to improve your English skills. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, lived an old queen. She had a beautiful and kind daughter. The princess was engaged to a prince from a distant land. The time came for the princess to leave her home and marry the prince. The queen was very sad to say goodbye to her only beloved child. Before the journey, the queen gave her daughter many precious gifts. There were dresses of gold and silver and beautiful jewels. The queen also gave the princess a special maid to travel with her. The maid was supposed to protect and serve the princess. However, the maid had a dark and selfish heart full of deep jealousy. The queen also gave her daughter a magical horse named Falada. Falada was a wonderful white horse who could speak like a human. The princess loved Falada very much. Finally, the queen gave her daughter a white handkerchief with 3 drops of the queen's blood. She told the princess this handkerchief would protect her on the journey. The princess and the maid rode away from the castle. The sun was hot and the journey was very long. After riding for a few hours, the princess became very thirsty. She asked the maid to fetch some water from a nearby stream using her golden cup. The princess spoke kindly, but the maid looked very angry. The wicked maid refused to obey the princess. She told the princess to get the water herself. The maid said she would no longer be a servant. The gentle princess did not want to argue. She climbed down from her horse and drank from the stream with her hands. The princess felt very sad and quite alone. As the princess drank, the drops of blood on the handkerchief spoke. They said if her mother knew about this, her heart would break. The princess ignored the rudeness of the maid and continued the journey. They rode further into the wild country. The sun grew hotter and the princess became thirsty once again on the road. Once more, the princess asked her maid for a drink of water from the river. She politely asked the maid to use the golden cup. Again, the cruel maid refused to help. She spoke with a loud and angry voice. She told the princess to get down and drink from the river if she was so thirsty. The poor princess leaned over the water to drink. As she did, the white handkerchief fell from her pocket and floated away down the river. The princess did not notice, but the wicked maid saw everything. The maid knew that without the magical handkerchief, the princess had lost her protection. The maid smiled an evil and cruel smile. The maid demanded that they switch clothes. She forced the princess to take off her beautiful royal dress. The maid put on the royal clothes and gave the princess her plain gray servant dress. The maid also forced the princess to ride the normal horse. The wicked maid climbed onto the magical white horse named Falada instead. The maid threatened the princess with terrible punishment if she ever told anyone the truth. The frightened princess promised to stay silent. She swore an oath under the open sky. The maid was very happy because she planned to marry the prince herself. The princess wept silently as they rode toward the grand castle of the prince. When they arrived at the castle, the prince came out to greet them. He saw the maid in the royal clothes and thought she was his bride. He helped her down from the magical horse and welcomed her inside. The real princess was left standing outside in the courtyard. She looked like a poor and lonely servant girl. The old king looked out the window and saw the beautiful girl standing in the courtyard. He noticed she looked very gentle and elegant even in poor clothes. The king asked the false bride about the girl she had brought with her. The wicked maid lied and said, the girl was just a lazy companion for the journey. The false bride asked the king to give the servant girl some work to keep her busy. The king thought for a moment. He said he had a young boy named Conrad who watched the geese. The king decided the new girl could help Conrad tend the royal geese. So the real princess became a humble goose girl. The false bride was afraid that the magical horse Falada might reveal her secret. She knew the horse could speak and might tell the prince the truth. She went to the prince and told a wicked lie. She said the white horse had been difficult and dangerous on the journey. She asked the prince to kill the horse. The prince believed his new bride and agreed to her request. When the real princess heard about this terrible plan, she was heartbroken. She secretly found the man who was ordered to kill the horse. She gave him a gold coin and asked for a favor. She asked him to nail the horse head to the dark town gate. The princess explained that she had to pass through that gate every morning and evening with the geese. She wanted to see her beloved horse one last time every day. The man agreed to help the poor girl. The next morning, the head of the loyal horse Falada was nailed firmly above the heavy wooden town gate. Early the next morning, the princess and the boy Conrad drove their geese through the dark gate. As they passed underneath, the princess looked up and spoke to her dear horse. She said, "Alas, Falada hanging there." The horse head answered her back. It said, "Alas, young queen, how sad you fare." Conrad was very surprised to hear this. The horse head continued to speak. It said, "If your mother knew, your heart would break." The princess cried softly and walked out of the town to the green meadow. She sat down in the grass and let the geese wander around her. Then she took down her hair to brush it. Her hair was made of pure gold. When Conrad saw her beautiful golden hair, he wanted to pull out a few strands for himself. He reached out his hand to grab the shining hair. The princess did not want him to touch her. She sang a little magical song to the wind. She asked the wind to blow Conrad's hat far away across the green fields. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew across the meadow. It snatched the hat right off the head of the boy Conrad. He had to run very fast to catch it. While he was chasing his hat, the princess finished brushing and braiding her golden hair. When Conrad finally returned, he was very angry and would not speak. The next morning, they walked through the dark gate again. Once more, the princess spoke to the horsehead. She said, "Alas, Falada hanging there." The horse replied, "Alas, young queen, how sad you fare. If your mother knew, your heart would break." They continued to the meadow, and the princess began to brush her beautiful golden hair again. Conrad tried to grab her golden hair once more. The princess sang her magical song to the wind again. "Blow, wind, blow, and take his hat away." The wind blew fiercely and carried the hat far across the fields. Conrad ran after it with a red and angry face. The princess braided her hair peacefully in the quiet meadow. That evening, Conrad went to the old king. He complained about the new goose girl. He said he refused to work with her anymore. The king asked Conrad what had happened. Conrad told the king about the talking horse head at the town gate. He also told the king about the golden hair and the strange, magical wind. The king was very curious about this strange story. He ordered Conrad to take the geese out again the next day. The king decided to follow them secretly. The next morning, the king hid near the dark town gate. He listened closely as the goose girl spoke to the horsehead. He heard the sad and mysterious conversation clearly. The king then followed the goose girl and Conrad to the green meadow. He hid behind a large bush and watched them. He saw the girl take down her shining golden hair. He watched Conrad try to grab the hair. Then he heard the girl sing her sweet song to the wind. The king saw the wind blow the hat. The king watched Conrad run across the fields to catch his hat. He saw the goose girl quietly braid her golden hair. The king realized this girl was no ordinary servant. She had the grace and magic of a true royal princess. That evening, the king called the goose girl into his private chambers to speak with her alone. The king asked the goose girl to tell him her true story. He wanted to know why she was working as a servant. The princess began to cry. She told the king that she had sworn an oath under the open sky. She said she could not tell her secret to any human being or she would be severely punished. The wise old king thought for a moment. He told the princess that if she could not tell a human, she should tell her story to the iron stove. The king pointed to the large stove in the corner of the room. He then left the room and locked the door behind him. The princess approached the cold iron stove. The princess crawled near the large iron stove and began to weep bitterly. She poured out her entire sad story. She explained how her wicked maid had stolen her royal clothes and her magical horse. She cried about being forced to work as a lowly goose girl. She spoke of her loneliness and her deep sorrow to the dark stove. The king had secretly placed a pipe connecting the stove to the next room. He listened to every single word the princess said. He finally understood the terrible crime the wicked maid had committed. The king was amazed by the honesty and patience of the true princess. He immediately ordered his royal servants to bring her beautiful royal silk clothes. The servants dressed the princess in magnificent silk and velvet gowns. They placed sparkling jewels around her neck. When the prince saw her, he was amazed by her incredible beauty. He realized that this gentle and shining girl was his true bride. The false bride was kept away so she could not see what was happening in the royal castle. That night, the king hosted a grand banquet. The prince sat at the head of the table with the true princess on one side and the false bride on the other. The false bride was blinded by the sparkling lights and the beautiful music. She did not recognize the true princess who was sitting right next to the handsome prince. After everyone had eaten, the king stood up to speak. He told the guests a story about a person who had betrayed their master. He described everything the wicked maid had done without mentioning names. Then the king turned to the false bride and asked her a very important and serious question in front of all the royal dinner guests. The king asked the false bride what punishment such a wicked traitor deserved. The arrogant maid did not realize the king was talking about her own crimes. She proudly declared that such a person should be stripped of their royal clothes and banished from the kingdom forever. She spoke with a loud and very confident voice to the old king. The king pointed his finger at the false bride. He declared that she had pronounced her own sentence. He ordered the guards to take away her stolen royal clothes. The wicked maid was banished from the kingdom forever, just as she had suggested. She was sent away into the dark forest and was never seen or heard from again. The true princess and the handsome prince were finally married. The kingdom celebrated with music and dancing for many days. The princess forgave the boy Conrad and gave him a bag of gold coins. She ruled the kingdom with kindness and wisdom for many long years. The story of the Goose Girl became a legend in the beautiful land. Now let us take a moment to analyze this classic fairy tale. The Goose Girl teaches us many important lessons about life and character. First, we see the theme of identity. The wicked maid could steal the clothes of the princess, but she could not steal her true noble spirit. True royalty comes from within, not from outward appearances. The princess showed immense patience and inner strength. Even when she was forced to do hard labor, she remained gentle and kind. She did not lose her temper or act with cruelty. This teaches English learners the value of resilience. Resilience means staying strong and calm even when you face difficult challenges and unfair situations in your daily life. Another important theme is the power of truth. The wicked maid thought she could hide her lies forever. However, the truth always finds a way to reveal itself. The talking horsehead and the magic wind were symbols of the truth refusing to stay hidden. In English, we often say that the truth will always come out into the light. The magical horse Falada represents loyalty. Even after he was gone, he continued to care for the princess. Loyalty is a wonderful vocabulary word to remember. It means being faithful and true to your friends and family. The horse showed true loyalty by speaking the truth and comforting the sad princess when she felt completely alone in the world. The old king represents justice and wisdom. He did not jump to conclusions when Conrad told him the strange story. Instead, the king investigated the situation carefully. He observed the Goose Girl and listened to her secret. This shows that a wise person gathers all the facts before making a decision. Wisdom is a very important trait to develop. The wicked maid represents jealousy and greed. She wanted what did not belong to her. Her jealousy led her to commit terrible crimes. In the end, her greed caused her own downfall. She even pronounced her own punishment without realizing it. This is a perfect example of poetic justice where the bad person creates their own unhappy and sad ending. Let us review some useful English vocabulary from the story. The word oath means a serious promise. When the princess swore an oath, she promised to keep a secret. The word banish means to send someone away as a punishment. The wicked maid was banished from the kingdom. Try to use these new words in your own English sentences today. Practicing English with fairy tales is highly effective. Stories help you remember words because they connect emotions to vocabulary. When you feel sad for the princess, you remember the word sorrow. When you feel angry at the maid, you remember the word wicked. This emotional connection makes learning English much faster and far more enjoyable for students of all ages. We hope you enjoyed learning about the Goose Girl today. This story reminds us to always be honest and kind. It also reminds us that true beauty comes from a good heart. Please share your thoughts about this story in the comments below. We love reading your ideas and seeing how well you are practicing your new English vocabulary words. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribing to Fairy Tales English Journey will help you discover more magical stories. We create these videos to help you learn English in a fun and relaxing way. Every story is a new opportunity to improve your listening and reading skills. Thank you for joining our wonderful community. Do not forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson. We have many more famous fairy tales and exciting English lessons planned for you. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced learner, there is always something new to discover. Keep practicing your English every single day, and you will see amazing progress very soon. Thank you for watching Fairy Tales English Journey. Remember that just like the true princess, your patience and hard work will be rewarded in the end. Keep learning and keep dreaming. We will see you in the next video for another beautiful story and another great English lesson. Goodbye for now and have a truly wonderful and magical day ahead.